So we're here today at the Paducah Board of Education to meet with Dr. Donald Shively. So we're here today at the Paducah Board of Education to meet with Dr. Donald Shively, and we're going to be... For starters, Dr. Donald Shively is the type of person who runs about a mile a minute. He is a person whose car clock is always 5 minutes fast, and as he claims, he's always at least a few minutes late to every meeting still. But he was raised in Adair County, and his mother was a teacher, so teaching is in his blood. He earned degrees in chemistry and math. He taught at Tillman High School and coached football there. He loved coaching, and he would do it again in a heartbeat. He was also the assistant principal at Tillman for 7 years. Then he traveled away to another county for a position, and then he's been back for 5 years. He's beginning his 6th year as the Paducah City School Superintendent. To begin our day together, Dr. Shively pulled up the calendar on his computer to show me what kind of meetings we were going to be sitting in on for the day. And he was quick to point out that there is no typical day for him. Everything is just from one day to the next. It could be totally different. But he was going to be starting off the morning with a directors meeting. Some of the directors in that meeting were directors of finance, of curriculum, facilities, personnel. So that was a meeting at 7:30. Then he jumped in the car and we went to the construction site meeting where the Innovation Hub is being built. He needed to hear from his contractors there to see what was going on, what the latest was there. Then he had a meeting with Paducah Housing Authority scheduled for 10. He was told at the directors meeting, however, that they felt like they had his voice and they knew what they were going to be doing, so he didn't have to do that 10 o'clock meeting. He had a lunch meeting that we were not able to attend with him with James Comer at 11:30 to discuss different initiatives and the Innovation Hub. Then he said he might get a few minutes to answer some emails around 12:30. Then he had a $4.2 million project renovation meeting at 1:30 and an outsourcing custodial work at 2:30 meeting and a curriculum meeting around 3, and then to round out his day he would be meeting at 5:30 with 2 parents to discuss some fundraising options. This was the district level leadership meeting. Various directors such as the directors of learning, technology, personnel, curriculum, facilities, and accounting were present. Some of the items that they discussed were utilizing Harry Wong's lesson plans at all different levels throughout the education from preschool all the way up through high school and submitting all those plans to principals. They also worked to break down silos by working with Paducah Housing Authority services, nonprofits, and partnerships with corporations. They also discussed facilities, concreting the new bleachers, and concreting the concession stands and welding equipment. They discussed working with boosters to clean the soccer areas. They also discussed personnel trainings that were coming up, as well as records for registration and proof of residency and other district issues that had come up in the recent months. This group meets every 2 weeks to discuss all the needs that they have in their district. Dr. Shively is actually quite familiar with our P20 program as he himself is a graduate from it. And he did his dissertation as a mixed methods research on how to implement the P20 movement in a small town. And for Dr. Shively, that is really totally embodied within the Paducah Innovation Hub. We're going to be talking about that more later in the video, but through his professional growth and what he's been able to do in acquiring funding, and they broke ground last year on the Innovation Hub, Dr. Shively hopes that this will be available to students starting in August of 2020.
Our engineering classroom, which will be across from carpenter welding with the project lead the way, pathways that those things connect. Upstairs on the back side over here we'll have our ROTC. Across the hall we'll have our health classes, and you're going to have IT. Our engineering classroom, which will be across from carpenter welding with the project lead the way, pathways that those things connect. Upstairs on the back side over here we'll have ROTC. Across the hall we'll have our health classes, and you're going to have IT.
To each of us in this P20 program, the word innovation probably takes on a variety of meanings. But for Dr. Donald Shively, really the epitome of this word is the Innovation Hub. The Innovation Hub is meant to incorporate students from different projects such as welding, engineering, carpentry to military, and builds these partnerships within the community and also into future universities. So he was able to get countless local business and leaders to give students practical hands-on experience within the field that they think that they might want to explore. He was quick to say that he wants students to come back and work in Paducah as a matter of choice, not a matter of circumstance. He also wanted to partner with local post-secondary institutions such as WKCTC, the UK campus of engineering that's here, and the small satellite Murray State University that is stationed here in Paducah as well, so that we can provide students with alternate pathways into education, and it really can be for everyone. He was also quick to point out that this was not just going to be just for Paducah schools. This was going to be for the county, for McCracken County schools. This was going to be open to St. Mary school systems, the other local systems here, and as well as the neighboring counties, that this was not just going to be something he was going to hold all for himself and this city schools, but also to share with the other school systems so that everyone could benefit from it. When asked about implementation, Dr. Shively quoted the Superintendent Leadership Plan.
From that standpoint, it's our vision, mission, and our values relative to our district. Our focus areas relative to student learning, engagement with the support system. From that standpoint, it's our vision, mission, and our values relative to our district. Our focus areas relative to student learning, engagement with the support system, employee recruitment and development, and then how you align the physical resources to that, our objectives to that, and then our strategies within those. That's the board approved, so it's my job to ensure that we're executing that and monitoring that.
In discussing implementation, Dr. Shively talked about his board as his boss. The 5 board members are his bosses, and they work on 4-year terms, and they set the policies and the procedures, and they were who evaluates him, and that's why he was discussing that superintendent leadership plan. Those were the systems by which he was being evaluated. Also, when he talked about his leadership styles and how he had grown, he talked about being very direct and forthcoming, kind of a what you see is what you get kind of personality, and that's how he just works with people. And so he was also agreed that he's the type of person that he likes to surround himself with people that he trusts. He knows he can give them a task. He knows they're going to do it. He knows he's going to follow up with them, but he really just trusts in their abilities, and he leans on that experience that other people have. Another facet of his position is that he says he's learned the most about has been the political navigation. He talked about it from just the local to the city to the state and all the way up to the federal for funding or for just dealing with personalities. And then he also talked about it from a very personal day-to-day dealing with the personnel and how to remain politically correct and trying to be the best he can when dealing with people. He also talked about how he's always looking ahead. He's always looking for new ventures, new challenges, new opportunities for growth within his district. Toward the end of our meeting, Dr. Shively drove around to the various schools that are encapsulated within the Paducah City School District, and he was able to discuss each of these schools in detail. One of his quotes was that you can't run a district from your desk, and I felt like that was very impressive, that he knew these schools, he wanted to be on the ground and spend time with these students. He told us that his district is the most diverse district in the state of Kentucky. A large portion of the students that they provide services to, 60 to 90%, 6% of them are living in poverty. He said it's 60% minorities, very diverse group. He praised the work of the transitional coordinator who works with the homeless families and families in poverty or in need to provide them resources. He discussed their multi-year partnerships with mental health and with a health coordinator to provide mental and medical aid. And then finally, when he got to discuss his proud moments, he discussed the college and career readiness levels that have risen from 24% at his initial joining at the superintendent level to the 70% that they are currently. And he believes that the Innovation Hub will only cause that number to rise in years to come. This, for one, was just a complete eye-opening experience into the life of an administrator. What overwhelmed me the most was how many facets there are and how much Dr. Shively knew about each facet, from conduit and wiring at the Innovation Hub to the curriculum experiences that were going on to various accounting aspects. He truly has his finger on the pulse of each aspect that he oversees. I really had no idea of the level of homelessness and poverty that is in Paducah and the challenges that must bring to an administration. Going forward, I plan to look for more opportunities to collaborate with local outreach programs to learn their needs better and provide pathways to have those needs met. And finally, I just truly believe the Innovation Hub is P20 in all its essence and all its glory. I look forward to seeing what other opportunities it can bring in the future.